So there's been new legislation passed by the governor's office this year, which is going to be effective in October of 2017. And there's two critical components in the criminal area that I am most concerned with, and which I think are going to be beneficial to our clients. The first one, which I think has been a great initiative, is that there is going to be now a new sealing provision in the criminal procedure law, which will allow for someone who made a mistake in their life more than 10 years ago and has never had any other convictions, felony or misdemeanor. The law is now going to provide an opportunity to have that conviction sealed. And that is a tremendous thing, because when you've been convicted of a felony or even a misdemeanor, when you go and apply for a job, you have to fill out an application. And that question asks, have you ever been convicted of any crime? And you have to answer that question truthfully, because if you lie and they find out, you're done. So you answer truthfully, yes, and then they ask you what it was for, felony or misdemeanor, and you answer that truthfully. And here's the reality. In today's competitive workplace, all right, if you're competing against applicants who've never been convicted of a crime, and you've been convicted of a crime, whether it's a misdemeanor or a felony, there's a pretty good likelihood that you're not going to end up getting that job. And I think the governor's recognized that there's a lot of first-time offenders out there who've been unfairly stigmatized and discriminated against based on one mistake they made when they may have been 20 or 21 years old, and it saddled them with a conviction for their entire adult life. And I think now the law is going to recognize that you're going to have an opportunity to go back and to try to seal that conviction. And we're excited about that, and we've been sending letters out to our clients encouraging them to contact us, because we want to represent people and go before the courts and get these cases sealed so they can move forward with their life and not be discriminated against. And the law also provides that that any of the employers of a sealed conviction cannot use that in any way to discriminate. Well, they're not going to be able to use it because it's going to be sealed. They're not even going to know about it, and they're never going to be able to find out about it. So that's a great thing. The next thing that the governor did, which I'm hopeful is going to be very positive in terms of the criminal justice, is that a lot of these young first-time offenders who are 15, 16, and 17 years old, the 16 and 17-year-olds were being treated as adults, and they were going to the adult criminal court. And many of us had felt for a long time that a 16 or 17-year-old who makes a mistake should not be prosecuted as if he were an adult, because he doesn't have the judgment, the maturity to even realize what he's done most times. And so now this new legislation recognizes that if you're 16 or 17 and you commit a misdemeanor or a nonviolent felony offense, that case is not going to be treated in criminal court anymore. It's going to be treated in family court. And as a result of being treated in family court, once the case is over, you're not going to have any kind of a criminal record. So these 16 and 17-year-old kids that got saddled with convictions that stayed with them for the rest of their life, now those cases are going to be treated in family court, and they're not going to have that problem and stigma associated. So we're encouraged by that. We think that's a great development. You know, my associate, I'm sure, will be busier now because she didn't do as many criminal cases. So the 16 and 17-year-olds that Devereaux and I would represent in criminal court are now going to go to family court. And so Jennifer will be representing them. And I think family court is the right place because they have the services to provide to these young kids to try to get them on the right road so they become productive, law-abiding citizens, which is what benefits all of us.